Golden Sun, one of my favorite Nintendo franchises, contains many references to various things. Few enemies don't allude to something, and the Jin sometimes have names that don't make sense at first, and occasionally ever. Golden Sun also includes the ability to summon entities based on real-world mythology and phenomenons. By channeling the energy of multiple Jin, powerful allies can be called to your aid. This in no way harms the Jin, so there isn't any sacrificing going on. But Jinny will become exhausted, indicating that like adepts, Jin have reserves of synergy and thus process exhausts that reserve. Being more in tune, the Jin much more quickly regain their full synergy power, but until they recover their power they can't even boost your power. But where do these summons come from? Let's first start by talking about the basic building block summons of the four elements. The weakest summons of each element are named after their element and summon one phantasmal Jinny of that element. This one Jinny expends its entire reserve of synergy in one powerful burst. Each of these four summons are based on the same Roman gods who are the namesake of the element. I won't cover them all over again, so check out the videos covering the Jin if you are curious and haven't seen those. The animations reflect the element in question, for example Venus Jin, called the dirt beneath the enemies up similar to Quake or Gaia. Mars sets off an explosion of fire similar to the blast synergies. Jupiter, a flurry of wind blasts similar to the slash synergies, and Mercury splashes enemies similar to the douse or froth synergies. Each element has a basic set of 4 summons including the summons we just covered. The 2 Jin Mars summon is Kirin. This represents the Asian creature of the same name who appears to announce the birth and death of the wise. In Japan, they are flaming dragons that often have traits in common with deer or tigers, as well as an oxtail. The 3rd level Mars summon is Tiamat, said to be the queen of the dragons. This is true to her origins as a Sumerian goddess who helped create the universe and gave birth to dragons, sea serpents, merpeople, and a whole host of monsters, very much like Echidna and Typhon. She was an ocean goddess, hence why she sleeps deep in a watery tower. It's a bit odd she is purely Mars, given this strong water tie. But dragons breathe fire, and that is what matters here. While there's nothing to suggest she is necessarily a dragon herself in the myths, Golden Sun compromises by making her a more sea serpenty dragon. The strongest Mars summon has the constellation send a meteor your way. A meteor is a fitting apocalyptic alternative to Judgment, as many scientists believe a meteor will destroy Earth long before gods or time. However, that constellation pushed the meteor. That constellation was called upon to send you a meteor. So who was it? There's no way to say or deduce the identity of the constellation, since meteors come from every constellation, even if only 4 are remotely known or talked about. But let's speculate and narrow the field down for lulz. The constellation is a lone humanoid man, so probably not Cygnus or Gemini or Aries. Actually, it could be an Arietid meteor if Camelot was being punny, since it sounds like the Greek god Ares, who became Mars in Roman mythology. Perhaps the meteors come from all different white, male, straight, cis constellations with each summon. Maybe Orion wants in on the hunt. No one can say for sure. I personally will believe Ares is using the lamb to get mythical on some monsters.